If I create 100 objects, how many copies of instance variable created? How many copies of class variable created? One. Irrespective number of objects, one copy created. That is class variable. How many categories of data types are there? Two categories. What are those? Primitive data types, reference data types. How many primitive types are there? 8. What are those? What are the reference data types? Arrays, strings, classes, interfaces, many dash dash. Okay. Class is a primitive data type or reference data type. Object reference is, can I call variable? Is it primitive type variable or reference type variable? What primitive type variable contains? What reference type variable contains? Hash code. Okay. What is the execution priority? Class variables, static blocks, main method. That is execution priority. Okay. How many ways to access instance variable? What are those? When we have to use object, only one time required. When we have to use object reference, more than one time. How many ways to access class variable? 4 ways. What are those? Directly, class name, object, object reference. How many ways not recommended? What are those? When we have to use directly, if it is present in the same class. When we have to use class name, another class. But sometimes in the same class also, we have to use class name to access class variable. In which situation? Local variable and in class variable names are same. Then again you have to use class name to access class variable. How many ways to access local variable? One way, that is directly. When we have to use instance variable in Java programming, if the value is different for objects. When we have to use class variable in Java programming, same value. When we have to use local variable to perform the task. Student roll number, which variable required? Student name, student address, mobile number, mail ID, college name, university name, C language marks, C++ marks, Java marks, total marks, local variable, task. Okay. Like this, you can select. Can we create object without object reference? The type of object is called anonymous object. We can also call unreferenced object. Can we create object reference without object? What that object reference contain? What is null? Object literal. How literals? X. What are those? Integer variables, integer literals, floating point literals, character literals, string literals, boolean literals, object literals. For storing integer literal, how many data types are there? What are those? For storing floating point literals, how many types? 2. What are those? Float and double. For storing character literal, how many? 1. That is char. For storing boolean literals, 1. That is boolean. String literals, object literals later. Object literal you have seen. Okay. String literal further comes. That is string class required. Okay. These all remember, don't forget. Don't forget. Okay. No, it is not completed. Variables are not completed. See. Here int x equal to 10. If I write Which type of variable? Instance variable. This is instance variable. Okay. If I write static, if I write inside a method, local variable. Like this, easily you can identify instance variable, class variable, local variable. Three types of variables. Okay. Now, still it is not completed. I'll explain. Suppose employee number. Which type of variable required? Instance variable. Suppose employee's salary, all employees in a one particular department in a one particular company, suppose they are getting same salary. Assume same salary. Then class variable. Okay. Say some companies will be there. Departments will be there. Administration department, production department, finance department, like that. Different departments will be there. Some companies, and suppose example, production department. In a production department, employees, no age, no experience, all will get a same salary. That type also will be there. Like that, based on your application requirement, you have to select whether instance variable required or class variable required. By mistake, instance variable place class variable place instance variable. If you select, many problems will occur. See that problem, I'll show you. Suppose class name employee. Employee number, which variable required? Now any company, anywhere, employee number definitely instance variable. Employee number will not be same, no? So employee number. Now employee's salary. Suppose in that particular company, in that particular department, all are getting same salary. Assume. Then class variable. Static float salary. Okay. Remaining code leave it. Now remaining code leave it. Just the problem I'll explain. See here, employee number, which variable this is? Salary, class variable. If I create 100 objects, suppose 100 employees are there in a company, then 100 objects required. If 1000 employees are there, 1000 objects required. Assume 100 employees are there. Then how many objects you have to create? 100. Then how many copies of employee number created? How many? 100. How many copies of salary created? 1. Say employee numbers 100 created. In Java, integer will occupy 4 bytes. Employee number 100 copies. That means 100 into 4 bytes. Then total 400 bytes. Okay. So assume 100 objects. 100 objects. Then 100 into 4 bytes equal to 400 bytes. Salary. Suppose 1 copy. Then how many bytes? How many bytes? 4 bytes. Float also 4 bytes in Java. 4 bytes. Then total how many bytes occupied? 400 bytes. 404 bytes. Okay. Suppose you observe employee class. This class is designed by one programmer. This class is designed by one programmer. The programmer is selected employee number as an instance variable. Salary is selected as a class variable. Because employee number different value, salary same value is there. Assume. Then class variable required is selected class variable. Like 4 into 100, 400. This is 4 bytes, 404 bytes allocated. Suppose same program, one more programmer by mistake is selected, or by mistake or is selected like this only. Integer, employee number or float salary. Suppose like this is selected. One programmer written program like this, one more programmer written program like this. Here. Now, employee number. How many copies created? 100 objects. Here 100 objects are there. How many copies created? 100. Then how many copies of salary created? 100. Then total memory 100 into 4 bytes, 400 bytes. Employee name. And salary also 100 into 4 bytes, total 400 bytes. Total 800 bytes. See, 800 bytes. Okay. Now, while printing, object reference dot employee number printed, object reference dot salary printed, object reference dot employee number salary printed. This program output, same output comes. Any difference will be their output? No. Here, memory allocation difference is there, but in output there is no difference. Output there is no difference. Here 100 objects are there, 100 copies of employee number created, 1 copy of salary created. So 404 bytes occupied. Here 100 objects, 100 copies of employee number, 100 copies of salary, 800 bytes. That program, this program output is same. No change. There is output point of view, there is no change. Same output comes there and same output comes here. Okay. But this total, how many bytes occupied? 404. This is how many? Double, no? Double memory, almost double. Double memory occupied. Now, assume it is internet application. Assume it is also internet application. Both are, we have to place in server. Both are internet application. If the application, if it is in your home PC, only you can access. This application, if you copy in server PC, worldwide accessible. Cloud servers, Java web hosting servers, many are there in the market. If you want to copy that application in server, are they allowing freely? No, you have to purchase space. Depends upon your memory, you have to pay money. There 404 bytes, here 800 bytes. Then there you have to pay up to 404 bytes, here 800 bytes. Suppose project may be 1 MB, 10 MB, 2 MB, like that will be there. For every bit you are paying money. Here, if you pay 10,000, here you have to pay 20,000. Here if you pay 500 rupees, here you have to pay 1,000 rupees, double. So money double. Suppose both are placed in server. Now you will send the request to that program, you will send the request to this program. Which program downloaded first? First one or second one? First one. That is downloaded very quickly. This is, it takes time to download. But in internet, 1 second also people are not waiting. You observe. If you want core Java tutorial, you'll open Google, you'll type core Java tutorial in Google. So many websites comes. First link, you'll click. If it is shows loading, second link they'll click. They won't wait 1 second also. Second link also slow. Third link. Alternatives thousands are there. Why waiting? Suppose third link is opened very quickly. That site will prefer. Next time also, if you want to see, again that site only will open directly. Okay. Then what will happen? Most of the people, they'll prefer that website only. That website will become popular. Remaining will be outdated. Like that. See, here, first priority they are giving speed only in internet. And second priority, user friendly. Third priority, content. Like that, so many priorities, so many concepts will be there. When application will become popular. If the application is very quickly downloaded, if the application having more graphics, if the application having more attractive, and if the application is user friendly, anybody can operate. That type is there, that application will become popular. Remaining applications may be outdated. Say, for example, you want to search for some information. Okay. Now you are using Google, but only Google is there. Many are there. Google is there, Alta Vista is there, Ask GVC is there, Ask is there, Bingo is there. So many search engines are there, no? But all are using Google. Why Google? Fast. Fast only, no? fraction of seconds, it will give thousands of links. Okay, fraction of seconds. So Google is very fast as compared to other search engines. For Google, per minute, how many requests are coming? Do you know? 2.5 crores of requests coming to Google in a minute, not day. Within a 1 minute. Within a 1 minute, 2.5 crores of requests coming to Google. That much popular. But other search engines, many are there, no? Yahoo search engine is there. Gmail, Ask GBC is there. Ask is there. Bingo is there. Alta Vista is there. Many search engines are there. But all are using Google only. For Google, 2.5 crores coming per minute. Other search engine, lakhs also not coming. Lakhs also not coming. How much gap is there, you observe? 2.5 crores and lakhs. That much gap is there. That much popular. Reason, fast. Okay. There are so many characteristics. Fast also important. Accuracy also important. User friendly also important. And attractive also important. Graphics also important. Many things considered. Okay. Suppose you want to book one cab. Which one will you prefer? Cab sites also many are there, no? Apps. Ola, Uber, like this many are there, no? But like that many are there. But Ola, Uber, Rapido, like 2-3 popular. Many are there. But you will prefer like user friendly, less price, everything you'll observe. No? There are so many characteristics. Suppose you want to book one movie ticket. But that is also many sites are there. But all are prefers book my show. Like that. Suppose you want to watch one video. YouTube. But only YouTube is there. Many are there. YouTube is there. MyTube is there. MeTube and many tubes are there. Okay. Are there. YTube, MTube. Many are there. But all are using YouTube only. Okay. That is there. MTube also is there. MyTube also is. You check it. Many websites are there. But all are using YouTube. Like that. One particular area, one particular website only will become popular. Remaining all outdated. Because there is a long gap. Okay. See, application should be user friendly. Application should be easy. See, what is internet they don't know. What is computer they don't know. They are doing online shopping. People are doing no. They are booking cab. They are withdrawing money. Who is teaching? How to send mail, how to receive mail, how to withdraw money, how to do shopping. They are learning themselves, no? Because of user friendly. Anybody can understand. That much user friendly they are providing. That is the reason they are operating. What is computer they don't know. What is internet they don't know. They are doing online shopping. That much user friendly applications are there. That's what all are using internet. Like that is also important. User friendly also important. If any website difficult to operate, it is outdated. If you are unable to operate, it is outdated. That's it. User friendly also important. Like this, so many characteristics will be there. At the time, memory important, money important, time important, everything considered. Now, this program output same. Output same. But which will be downloaded very quickly? First one. That means that programmer written program properly. But this program occupies more memory. It is taking more time to download. Why it is taking more time to download? It is occupied more memory. Why it is occupied more memory? Programmer not written well. Why is not written well? Is not perfect in core Java. Okay, like that. So here, based on concepts, he has to select properly, but he didn't select properly. It is a mistake only, no? But any error comes, error will not come. Same output comes. Most of the students, what they'll do is always they'll think about output only. Different types they'll write. At last they'll bring the output. But only output is not important. In a software company, memory size also important, time also important, money also important, everything considered. That's what you need to take care about everything. See, only output means that is also output comes, this is also output comes. With this also output, same output. With that also same output. but memory time also considered. That's what you have to take care about while selecting variables properly. Most important concept. Okay. Say with only one static keyword, it is occupied double memory. Suppose year and year, only one difference you observe. Static not there. With only static keyword, it is occupied 404. It is without static 800 bytes. Double memory. Suppose if you write year static, year also static, then very less memory occupies, no? 4 bytes, 4 bytes, 8 bytes only. 100 times memory you can save if you write. But what is the problem? All employee number comes same. Wrong output. Wrong output. So that is also you should not do. It occupies very less. Okay. Just 8 bytes. Like if you don't write static, 800 bytes. If you write static, 8 bytes. 4 bytes, 4 bytes. But all employee number same comes, all salary same comes. Then that is also outdated. Wrong output means, suppose any hall ticket number will send, same result comes. Who will use that one? It is outdated. Wrong output. Output also important. Output important, memory important, money important, time important, everything important. That is you have to take care. That's what coding, every point important only. That's what these many points I given. Otherwise, variables in a one, just in a half an hour, I can complete. But why these many points? Required. In a software company, this type of knowledge is only required. Okay. So here, actually, salary, all are getting same salary. Which variable you have to select? Class variable. Suppose all are getting different salaries. Like that only you have to select. Suppose here all are getting same salary, but you return instance variable. Memory wasted. Suppose all are employee number different, but you selected class variable. Wrong output. But error will not come. Instance variable place class variable you select. No error. Class variable place instance variable you write. No error. Class variable place instance variable if you write. Class variable place instance variable if you write. Memory wasted. Instance variable place class variable if you write. Wrong output comes. But error will not come. That is your responsibility. That is called object oriented programming logic. Like you have seen A++, B++, like that programs you have seen, no? Previous classes. That is C language logic. This is Java logic. This type of logic also important. Okay. Java, this type of logic only most important. Whether instance variable record or class variable record or local variable record, you have to select properly. By mistake, instance variable place class variable place instance variable, error will not come. That is your mistake, logical mistake. Okay. That is considered as your mistake. It is logical error. Logical error is there. Wrong output comes. But you will not get error message. Because system doesn't know logic. If system understands logic, programmers are not required. Okay. Why programmers? If system understands logic. So what system companies are seeing? Your logical skills only, no? That is required for company. System cannot understand logic. Logic, your responsibility. Okay. Now, so you have to select properly. One more point. Here, integer x. Which variable? Static int y. Integer z. Now, how many ways to access instance variable? 2 ways. What are those? Now, I want to access that variable by using object reference. What we have to write? What we have to write? Demo d equal to new demo. Next, system dot out dot println d dot x. Now, this is a class variable. How many ways to access? I want to access with class name. What we have to write? Demo dot y. Demo dot y. How many ways to access local variable? That is directly Z. Here d dot x, here demo dot y, Z. Now I didn't initialize. I didn't write number, you observe. Here also I didn't write. Here also I didn't write. But if I compile, this line error comes. This line. Last one error. File, save. First one, second one, no error. Last one, error. Why? I'll explain. Here, Java C demo.java. Java demo. See, first error. Demo.java line number 11. Error. Variable Z might not have been initialized. So, here, what system saying this Z is not initialized, but X also not initialized, Y also not initialized. But you are getting error only for Z. This Z I'll remove. I'll make it as comment. Now you observe, it will compile. It will compile successfully. It will run successfully 0, 0. So if we don't write any value for instance variable, you will get a default value 0. If we don't write any value for class variable, then you will get a default value 0. But local variable, you will not get. Error comes. Local variable must be initialized before access. Otherwise, compile time error. Because for this one, 0. 0 will be assigned by default constructor. That is further concept. Here 0, initialization block. That is further concept. For this one, nothing is there. That's what error comes. This is automatically initialized with constructor. It is automatically initialized with static block. Later we'll see. This is not initialized by system. You have to initialize. That is they given like that. Say, just note down. Local variables must be initialized. Local variables must be initialized before access. Otherwise, compile time error occurs. Because they do not get default values. Local variables must be initialized before access. Otherwise, compile time error occurs because they do not get default values. Local variables must be initialized before access. Otherwise, compile time error occurs because they do not get default values. Local variables must be initialized before access. Before accessing only you have to initialize. Without initialization, if you try to access, error comes. Okay. Without initialization, if you try to access, you will get an error. Because default value will not come. But instance variable default value comes. Class variable default value comes. Default value is 0. In C language, garbage value comes. We cannot predict one number comes. That is called garbage value. But in Java, garbage collector, one concept is there. I'll explain. Garbage collector collects the garbage. That's what it is cleaned. Then you'll get a 0. What is garbage? What is garbage collector? I'll explain. First, you write this example. Write this example. default values. 0 is the default value, 0 is the default value. It's an error. Is it over? Say instance variable will get a default value 0. Class variable will get a default value 0. Local variable will not get. You must initialize before accessing. Now, if you write like this line is valid. But if you try to access error, before accessing, this must be initialized. So next line at least z equal to some number you have to write. Then that number printed. But without writing value, if you try to access, error comes. Okay. Now, actually, in C language, 0 will not come. One number comes. The number we cannot predict. Which number is going to print also we cannot predict. That number is called garbage value. That garbage cleaned by garbage collector in Java. That's what you will not get any garbage. You will get a default value that is 0. For every data type, one default value is there. What is that? I'll give. Now, note on primitive data type default value. Primitive data type default value. Byte, short, int, long, float, double, char, boolean. Byte default value 0. Short default value 0. Int default value 0. Long default value 0. Float default value 0.0. Double zero default value 0.0. Character default value blank space. Why it is blank space is ASCII value is 0. Boolean default value false. Why it is false is false means 0. Byte, short, int, long, float, double, char, boolean. Byte, short, int, long, all zeros. Everything is 0 only. Blank space also ASCII value 0. Boolean also false. False means 0. That means 0. Reason all are zeros only. Is it over? Here, you observe these all zeros. Long literal must be suffixed with small l or capital L. This point you learn. When you outright, if it is out of integer range, but 0 is within integer range or out of integer range. That's what L not required. Okay. But floating point literal must be suffixed with small f or capital F. That's what it is compulsory F. Okay. That is while printing F is not printed. While writing in a program F required. Okay. Double you can write. Here ASCII code you already studied. If the number is 48, what is output? 0. If the number is 65, what is output? Capital A. If the number is 97, small a. Okay. Like that, if the number is 0, blank space. If the ASCII number is 0, that output will be blank space. 48 means 0. 0 means blank space. 48 number output is 0, but 0 output is blank space. That's what blank space. ASCII value 0. That's what blank space. Here true means 1, false means 0. That's what that is false. See, in the program, suppose I'll remove this, I'll remove this, I'll remove this. Now, here if I write float, what is output comes? 0.0. See, compilation, execution, 0.0. Okay. Output 0.0 comes in a program. If you want to write 0.0 F required. Now, suppose it is a character. You observe compilation, execution. See, one space extra, one line extra coming. Now you observe. Here you observe. Here one line. Here two lines. One space, blank space. Suppose if it is Boolean, what is the output? False. Because false means 0. This is a concept. Okay. Here instance variable. Will it instance variable get default value? Yes. Will it class variable get default value? Yes. Will it local variable get default value? No. That is you must initialize. That is you are going to perform task. That is the reason you must initialize. While performing task, depends upon task you have to initialize. Okay. Same. That is performing task you have to initialize. This is about default value concept. Still some more concepts are there. I'll explain. Here, which in a programming, while developing any project, which type of variables are required more? Instance variable or class variable or local variable? Instance variables. Maximum instance variable required. Say, student roll number. Which variable? Name, address, mobile number, mail ID. So, maximum instance variable, no? So, maximum instance variables required in a programming. Instance variable memory allocated whenever object is created. Okay. But that memory, when it is going to be vanished, whenever object is destroyed. When object is destroyed, that is, if object reference is not there, that is garbage. I would explain. First, this I'll explain. Life and scope I'll explain. Then garbage collector will understand. Integer x equal to 10. Static int y equal to 20. Integer z equal to 30. For loop integer I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus. Here, if I write here, x which type of variable? Instance variable. Y which type of variable? Class variable. Z which type of variable? Local variable. Here, I which type of variable? Local variable. Here, it is array. String args. String args. Args is a array reference. String array reference. Object reference. Array reference. String reference. It is nothing but reference. Reference is also variables. It is also local variable. Now, but it is one more name is there. It is called method parameter. For this one more name is there. It is called block variable. But method parameters and block variables are also called local variables. Write this one. Is it over? Instance variable, class variable, local variable, method parameter, block variable. Say a variable that is defined as a member of a class is called instance variable. A variable that is defined as a static member of a class, it is called class variable. A variable that is defined inside a method, local variable. It is also inside a method only, no? It is local variable. It is also inside a method only, no? Local variable. But for this one terminology is there, method parameter. For this one more terminology is there, block variable. Okay. But little bit difference is there. What's the difference? I'll explain. First, is it over? Writing is over. Next, write it. Method parameters and block variables are also called local variables. Method parameters and block variables are also called local variables. Method parameters and block variables are also called local variables. See, what's the difference? I'll explain. Variable, life. Every variable life will be there. Instance variable, life is object. Class variable, life is class. Local variable, life is method. Method parameter, method. Block variable, block. Note variable life. Every variable life. Is it over? Instance variables, object. Class variable, class. Local variable, method. Method parameter, method. Block variable, block. What is this you observe? When memory allocated to instance variable, whenever object is created. Memory deallocated to instance variable whenever object is destroyed. That means as long as object is there in the memory, that is instance variable is there. Whenever object is created, that life started. Whenever object is destroyed, that life is ended. It is vanished. Here, class variable. Whenever class is loaded into JVM memory, that life started. Whenever class is unloaded, then that life is ended. See, here, class demo loaded, open brace executed, then life started. Here, close brace, life ended. Okay, like that. But object is created and destroyed at the time. Here, local variable and method parameter method. Whenever method is called, life started. Whenever method is terminated, life is ended. Block variable, block. Whenever for loop started, suppose in this example, then life started. When for loop terminated, life ended. That is called life. But life different, scope different. What is scope? I'll give. Next, write it. Block variable scope is limited to block only. Block variable scope is limited to block only. Method parameters and local variables scope is limited to method only. Instance variables and class variables scope is based on access modifiers. Instance variables and class variables scope is based on access modifiers. Instance variables and class variables scope is based on access modifiers. Say life different, scope different. Life different, scope different. What's the difference? I'll explain. See, first of all, block variable memory allocated whenever block is started. Block variable memory deallocated whenever block is terminated. That much time period it will be there in the memory. That is called life. That is within that block only you can access. Outside of the block you cannot access. That is scope. Say, for example, here you already studied this one. For loop integer I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus. System dot out dot println I. What will be the output? What will be the output? 1 to 10. File. Save. Compilation. Execution. 1 to 10. Okay. Suppose here system dot out dot println I. Now what will be the output? Your answer can be right or wrong. Error. Any other? 1 to 11. Now this is inside the for loop or outside the for loop? Inside the for loop. Is it inside the for loop or outside the for loop? Outside the for loop. It is outside the for loop. When this is executed, whenever condition false. Whenever condition false. See, first of all, I value 1. 1 less than or 1 printed. See, first I value 1. 1 less than or equal to 10. True. 1 printed. Then it will become 2. 2 less than or equal to 10. True. 2 printed. 3. 3 less than or equal to 10. True. 3 printed. Like that, 10 less than or equal to 10. 10 printed. 11. 11 less than or equal to 10. Then it will come out here. But here I, which variable this is? Block variable. Within the for loop only you can access. Outside the for loop you cannot access. It's an error. Say, file, save. Compilation. See, cannot find symbol. Suppose here this I'll write here. Is it valid? Yes, it is valid. What is the output? 1 to 11. See, it is valid. 1 to 11. That is so scope. Now, is it block variable or local variable? Local variable within the method you can access, no? That is. Write this example. It is a local variable. That scope is within the method. You can access. So output is 1 to 11. Output is 1 to 11. Is it over? It is a local variable and this output is 1 to 11. See, first I executed, just memory allocated, not initialized. First I value, nothing, memory allocated. Then I becomes 1 because 0 will not come here. Local variables must be initialized, no? So here 0 will not come here, no 0. First I memory allocated. In that memory nothing is there. Whenever you write I1, 1 stored. So int I, memory allocated, 1 initialized, 1 less than or equal to 10 true, 1 printed, it will become 2, 2 less than or equal to 10 true, printed, 3, 3 less than or equal to 10 true, printed, like this, 10, 10 less than or equal to 10 true, 10 printed, it will become 11, 11 less than or equal to 10 false, it comes here, 11 printed. But if you write here, this is called now, is it local variable or block variable? Block variable. Block variable scope is limited to block only. Can we access outside the for loop? No. That's what here error. See, file, save. Compilation, execution. See, first compilation only error. Write this one. It is a block variable. Error because block variable scope is limited to block only. Within the for loop only can access. Outside the for loop, if you try to access, error. Outside the for loop, if you try to access, error comes. Error because block variable scope is limited to block only. Outside the block, you cannot access. That's what error. We should not access. If you try to access, error. Now, one more question I'll give. Think yourself and give answer. Now, here, I value 1. 1 less than or equal to 10, true. 1 printed. 2. 2 less than or equal to 10. Like this, up to 10 printed. When I 11 less than or equal to false, it comes here. This line error. That is the reason remaining also will not work. Error is there, program will stop it, terminated. So this I, now I is a which variable? Block variable. Within the block, within the for loop only can access. Outside the for loop, if you try to access, error. That scope is limited to block only. That's what error. Okay. Now I'll give some other code snippet. Think yourself and try to respond. Okay. You observe. Int I for I equal to 1. Suppose I equal to 5. I less than or equal to 13. I plus plus. System dot out dot println I. What is the output? 5 to 13. File, save. Compilation, execution, output 5 to 13. Okay. Now I'll write semicolon. What is output? Only 14 or any other? No. First I value 5 less than or equal to 13. True. Then what is executed? Only semicolon executed. Next 6. 6 less than or equal to 13. True. Semicolon. Like this 13. 13 less than or equal to 13. True. Semicolon. 14. 14 less than or equal to 13. False. Then 14 printed. File, save. See, output 14. Write this one. This is which variable? Local variable. Output 5. Output 14. It is a local variable. Within the method you can access. Within the method you can access. So it is valid. So output 14. Is it over? No. Little bit I'll change. Give me answer. Now this I'll write here. What will happen? Wire Is it inside the for loop or outside the for loop? Outside the for loop, can we access I? That is error. This type of error I was shown while teaching for loop. It is object oriented programming error. Got it? This variable outside the for loop you cannot access because it block variable. See, file, save. If I compile, error. See, variable, line number 6, error. Here, error. Write this one. It is a block variable. It's an error because block variable cannot be accessed outside the block. It is outside the for loop. That is outside the for loop. That one you cannot access. That system.out.println I is a outside the for loop. You cannot access. Okay. Semicolon inside the for loop. System.out.println I outside the for loop. Outside the for loop we cannot access I. That is an error. Okay. See, this type of logic is object oriented programming, Java logic. That plus plus minus minus, what is output? That is C language logic. That type. That is C language type. But it is accessible or not accessible is there, no? That is Java logic. So object oriented programming logic also important. So everything you have to observe. Each and every character you have to observe in a program. Because they'll give code snippet. They'll ask what will be happen if I compile and execute. Option A, option B, option C, option D. Multiple choice questions only they'll ask. That's what every point important only. Is it over? So it is a block variable. Block variable scope is limited to block only. Outside the block you cannot access. Now it is in a for loop. So within the for loop only you can access. But is it within the for loop or outside the for loop? Outside the for loop. That's what we cannot access. Okay. Say file, save. We are getting error. That's an error. Okay. Suppose here, if suppose integer I, if I greater than 0, something I'll write. Suppose I equal to 5. Here you observe integer j equal to 10. Okay. Else system.out.println j. If I write now here I declared. Can we access this variable here? No, because this is if block. It is else block. This variable scope is limited to if only. That is also block. Within the if block, if you define, you cannot access outside the if. If else treated as one statement only, but one statement only having two blocks. So if is one block, else is another block. If you define a variable inside the if, you can access within the if only. You cannot access inside the else. Okay. That is also block variable concept only. Same. Block variable memory allocated whenever block is started. Block variable memory deallocated whenever block is ended. Starting time allocated, ending time deallocated. That scope is limited to block only. Within the block only you can access. Outside the block you cannot access. If you try to access, error comes. That is the concept. Method parameters and local variables memory allocated whenever method is called. Method parameters and local variables memory deallocated whenever method is terminated. Those access within the method only. See, this variable aux within the main method only can access. Suppose if we define one variable integer x here, this variable you can access within the main method only. Outside the main method not possible. Okay. So here what will be happen? Block variable, method parameter, local variable, life and scope different, same appears, but actually scope and life is different. What is the difference between life and scope? Whether it is there or not, that is called life. Whether it is accessible or not accessible, scope. Now instance variables and class variables scope is based on access modifiers. Now instance variable when memory allocated, whenever object is created. Instance variable when memory deallocated, whenever object is destroyed. So here suppose integer x equal to 10, otherwise integer a equal to 10. Here integer b equal to 20, integer c equal to 30, integer d equal to 40. These all variables memory when it is allocated, whenever object is created. When memory deallocated, whenever object is destroyed. Okay. Instance variable memory allocated whenever an object is created. Instance variable memory deallocated whenever an object is destroyed. Okay. But these all memory allocated while creating object. These all variable memory deallocated whenever object is destroyed. But what I'll do, see here, I'll write private. I'll write protected. Today not possible to understand, just little bit I'll give. Don't write, no need to write public. If I write. Now, these all variables memory allocated whenever object is created. These all variable memory deallocated whenever object is destroyed. That is life. But scope is different. This is today not possible to understand. This variable within the package you can access. This variable within the class only you can access. This variable outside the package also you can access if it is subclass. This variable no restriction, anywhere you can access. But all are instance variable only, no. But life scope different, no. Life same, scope different. That's what this point I given. Instance variables and class variable scope is based on access modifiers. These are called access modifiers. That is today you cannot understand, because for that package required, inheritance required, subclass required, subpackage required, these all required. That's what today not possible. That is later I'll cover. But you remember, instance variable, class variable scope is based on access modifiers. That point remember. Later I'll explain. Okay. Now, when memory allocated to instance variable, whenever object is created. When memory deallocated to instance variable, that's what life is called object. What is the when life is started for class variable? Class is loaded. When life is ended, unloaded. Loading into JVM, again removing from JVM, like that. Here method is method started, method ended. Block started, block ended. So this is life and scope. Variable life, variable scope. Now, one more code snippet I'll give. Think yourself and give whatever you studied with that knowledge, you can give answer. But each and every character you observe, and then try to respond. Okay. I'll write something. I'll write. If I compile and execute, what will be happen? Each and every character, each and every line observe, and with that knowledge give answer. Eleven. Error. 9. 9. 11. Error. Online students also respond. 9. 11. 12. Okay. Your answers give me, I'll write. 11. 12. Error. 10. Next. 13. Next. If your answer is not there in that list, give me, I'll write. If your answer is not there in that list, give me, I'll write. If your answer is not there in that list, then give me answer, I'll write. Somebody 9 also given, no? In the online. Now next. 9, 10, 11, 9, 10, 11 also given. 11 already is there, okay. Now. Sir. 2. Okay. All people answer is there. How many people answer 9? How many people answer 9? 1, 2, 2 members. Online students. How many people answer 10? No one is there. Online. 1 person. 2 members. How many people answer 11? No one is there. Online students. Members. How many people answer 12? So majority 12. Online. How many people answer 13? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many people answer error? Okay. Online students. Say, few people hand is like this only. That means not confident. If you are confident, hand will rise like this. Otherwise, like this becomes. Okay. Say, those who given error, why error? This is which type of variable? When memory allocated? Where is object? How many ways to access? What are those? Is there any object? Is there an object reference? Can we access directly? Every line error. Okay. Here error. Here also. Here also. Here also. All are seeing plus plus minus minus, but they are not concentrating on object oriented programming. This type questions already I asked, but again why I'm asking? Object oriented programming purpose I'm asking. 4 errors you observe. Every line error. Compilation. See, 4 errors. Every line error. This memory is not allocated, and that too we cannot access directly. You already studied, no? It is instance variable. Memory allocated whenever object is created. There is no object, no memory. That too, 2 ways to access. Either object or object reference. But object is not there, object reference is not there. Right, this one? It is an instance variable that memory allocated whenever object is created. But there is no object. Memory is not allocated. That too we cannot access directly. If you want to access compulsory object required, otherwise object reference required. So this program will not compile. It's an error. A little bit change. It is static. First, is it valid or not valid? Valid, no? You can access directly. Now what is output? In this line 10, here 14, here 13, here 12. It is pre-decrement. First pre-decremented printed. So output is 12. Now it is class variable, memory allocated. You can access directly. 12. Write this one. It is also separate, write it. Don't do modifications, write separate. Okay. I modified, you modified means later after 1 week if you open you cannot understand. Okay. This output is 12. Write separate program, this one. Write separate program. It is class variable. Memory allocated whenever class is loaded. That too we can access directly. So in this line 10, here 11, here 14, here 13, here 12. But here pre or post no difference. Here difference will be there. While printing, while performing other operation, difference will be there. This output 12. Okay. We'll see continuation tomorrow.